All right, good morning, everybody. Got some more Epstein bombs to drop today. Proof that Epstein was friendly with Trump as late as 2017, and that Epstein was actually rooting for Trump to win the 2016 election. This is contrary to Trump's story about, oh, that guy was weird, kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, never had anything else to do with him. All of this in the Epstein files, a lot of people are not really taking a close look at the Epstein files. It completely debunks Trump's narrative, but, it almost seems like the media is complicit in this cover-up. This is unbelievable. Now, also today, we're going to get into a story about when Trump first met Melania and some insights into her bestie relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. And finally, how Epstein predicted the future. Now, you're not even going to believe that part of the show because essentially he predicted exactly what's happening in 2026, 2025, 2026, 2027, except the predictions came 10 years ago. Now, before we get into all that, we're going to get into some of these news stories. If you hadn't heard, this is breaking news. Because in the United Kingdom, they like to arrest people on suspicion of harming children, do the investigation, and then either send them to prison or let them go if they don't find any evidence. Yes, Prince Andrew has finally been arrested. Wow. United Kingdom is starting to show us up here in the United States, because in America, how we deal with allegations is we deny, deflect, and scapegoat. This is unbelievable. I can't even believe he finally got arrested. But it was a long time coming. They're going to do a deeper dive, a deeper investigation. Look at this image. Almost looks like he's got a black eye or something. He's already been deposed. And hopefully they will get down to the bottom of this, start cross-referencing some of these witnesses, some of the accused. You guys, it's obvious now that to anyone that's paying attention that there is a cover-up afoot. Virginia Giuffre, dead. Epstein, maybe dead. Probably not dead. But the pilot, dead, missing. They're basically going through and killing or disappearing anybody that seems to have concrete evidence against these people. Right there, the body count is the evidence that something is not right. Otherwise, these people wouldn't be dropping off like flies, right? Now, what else is going on? In America, what we also do when dealing with PDF files is we like to pull the alien card. Yes, Trump is about to pull the aliens are with us card. Laura Trump reveals President has a speech pre-written to announce the discovery of alien life after Obama made a similar claim. Yes, Trump's about to pull the aliens are among us card. We cannot let these people off the hook with this, you guys. We've got to stay on this. Now, this will be interesting if this actually does happen, but Obama is saying that he's going to basically do alien disclosure, and Trump is now saying he's going to try to beat him to the punch, right? Wow. All right, let's get into some of these Epstein files today and talk about how happy Epstein was that Trump won in 2016. This is unbelievable. We're going to talk about what this means, because what it means is Trump's a liar. Trump is saying he and Epstein had nothing in common, kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. But what I'm going to show you today tells a very different story. Now, Trump tried to say that Epstein was trying to take him down, and this is in the Epstein files that Epstein was trying to take me down. And he says the two were estranged. And now what I'm going to show you today will prove that none of this was true. Well, we already know also in the Epstein files, there were memos between Trump and Epstein's lawyers claiming that Epstein always had an open door to come back to Mar-a-Lago. So the narrative is starting to fall apart as we look at some of these emails. Now, this first one says, And of course, this person's redacted. Why are they redacting the names? An email sent to Jeffrey Epstein, and what you're going to see is that there are several emails in which these people were checking in with Epstein and giving him information about Trump's progress. They're informing him about how well Trump's doing, how he's feeling, reporting to him, that he won the election. And the general atmosphere of this is that Epstein is happy that Trump won. Here's an email to Epstein. I simply cannot believe this victory, talking about Trump's win. No one called it. We all thought she'd win. They're talking about Hillary. You must be happy, though. So this person says, I remember flying back with Donald on his plane the first week I went to visit you in Florida. Was the weekend he met Melania, and he kept coming out of the bedroom saying, wow, what a hot piece of ass. Nuts. Anyway, hope you're enjoying Saudi. Now, why would this person be sharing a story about Melania with relation to Epstein? It's because they all knew each other. Wow. Now, what else is going on here? Let's get into this next email here. So, Epstein seemed to care about Trump and Melania, and he got regular updates from his friends on their condition. And in this 2019 email, so fast forward, this is right before Epstein is arrested and put in jail, 2019. It's important to understand the context and the timeline of these events. This is a 2019 email. Jonathan and Summers Farkas, they're a couple, and they said that they talked to Trump and Melania and reported this back to Epstein, that Trump looked tired but upbeat. So this is obviously a very positive email about Trump. He says, Farkas says to Jeffrey Epstein, Summers and I talked to Trump and Melania last night. He looked and seemed very tired but upbeat. So Epstein was rooting for Trump. Because if he hated Donald and there was this vendetta, according to Donald Trump, why would he care if Trump was upbeat or not? Right? Again, months away from his death or disappearance, these people are lying straight to our face. Now, who is this Summers Farkas? Well, she's all in the family too. Here's another email, and it's from Jonathan Farkas. He says, I gave your Jettree number between us. I think Summers going to DC to work for Melania. Long story. So, who is Summers Farkas? Well, I found out she's married to Jonathan, of course, and she was a former model. And what's weird is her role in the White House was downplayed in 2016 when that email went out. But Trump was just elected. And look at this. Now, Summers Farkas, the former model who went to go hang out with Melania and be with Melania after the election, Trump just named her the 2024 ambassador to Malta. So that was her sweetheart deal that she got for coming to hang out with Melania. So do you see how all these people are still connected all the way into 2016, 2017? Through Farkas, through Summers, through Jonathan, Melania working with her, Epstein checking in with his finger on the pulse of the Trump presidency. Now, here's more proof. Oh, here, let me show you this picture. This is Summers Farkas. And again, Trump just named her the U.S. ambassador to Malta last year, a couple years ago. This is her here. And she's apparently besties with Melania. Now, even here in the AI overview, They say that she was a socialite, served on Trump's commission on White House fellowships, 2017. So the next year she was actually commissioned to the White House. But secretly, the emails say that she's going to DC to work for Melania. So this lady works for Melania. Now, let's keep going here. Now, these people, again, I'm trying to show you that in the files, we're getting a completely different story of what reality actually is. Okay. Reality is these people are all connected. Okay. Epstein never left the building, essentially. Now, here's another insight into all of this, going all the way back to 2002. Now, Trump had met Melania in 98, so 4 years before this. And here is an email between Ghislaine Maxwell and Melania Trump. It says here, this is from Melania. How are you? Nice story about Jeffrey Epstein in New York Magazine. You look great on the picture. I know you're very busy flying all over the world. How is Palm Beach? I cannot wait to go down. Give me a call when you're back in New York. Have a great time. Love, Melania. Now, it's funny because they try to redact this to take Melania's name out of it. Let's go to the original document here. And this is important. It's important to note that what's happening here is we're showing you that it wasn't just some fly-by-night double date couple with Ghislaine and Epstein and Trump and Melania. They were thick as thieves. So Melania's name gets redacted, but they forgot to pull her name out of down here. Love, Melania, right? And what ends up happening is we get to see that Ghislaine and Melania are very, very close. Ghislaine calls her Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea, thanks for your message. Actually, plans changed again, and I'm now on my way back to New York. I leave again on Friday, so I still do not think I have time to see you, sadly. I will try and call, though. So this is 4 years running. Besties, double date besties. And now what's missing out of all this, we have these fragment emails, right? But we never hear from Trump. And they want us to believe that he never, ever had any communications with these people. But we know that he did because we have these other fragments of emails that tell the rest of the story. So the only logical conclusion is that they took all of the emails with Trump and Epstein out of the files. That's the only logical conclusion that we can draw. Now, I looked up to see when most of the trafficking took place with Epstein and Ghislaine. So, 94 to 2004. And here's the other part of the story. So that email that we just saw was 2002. It was right in the middle of all their trafficking. And we know that they were all friends from 98 when Trump met Melania all the way up to at least 2002 with this email. So essentially, they want us to believe that Melania and Trump hung out with these people for 4 years and had no idea that they were in the thick of their trafficking operation. Do you see the problem here? The proof is obvious when you're actually looking at the facts instead of the emotion and the right-left paradigm. Now, let me check in with you guys. We're going to get into how Epstein knew the future. Now, how did I find what I'm going to show you next? Well, I searched the files for the year 2027. And what I found, I almost fell out of my chair. Epstein literally predicted 2027 back in 2016. Now, what's weird here is he didn't exactly predict this. He actually got an email from a redacted user. Again, why is the Justice Department redacting these things? This was from May of 2016, before Trump even won his first term. And the redacted user sends this email that I'm going to read to you today about the future. And the person says, I bet you already know a lot of this. Epstein then plagiarizes that email from the mystery person, and he copies it and sends it to Sheikh Fahad bin Hamad later in 2016, as if he wrote it himself, because there's no forward here. He just copied it and pasted it. So technically, this mystery person was the one who predicted everything that I'm going to read to you next. Let's get started. Now we're going to be stopping intermittently. Every time we get a bingo, we're going to stop and flesh this out. Let's begin. It says, in 1998, Kodak had 170,000 employees, sold 85% of all photo paper worldwide. Within just a few years, their business model disappeared and they went bankrupt. What happened to Kodak will happen in a lot of industries in the next 10 years, and most people don't see it coming. Did you think in 1998 that 3 years later you would never take pictures on paper film again? Yet digital cameras were invented in 1975. The first ones only had 10,000 pixels, but followed Moore's law. So, as with all exponential technologies, it was a disappointment for a long time before it became way superior and got mainstream in only a few short years. It will now happen with artificial intelligence, health, autonomous and electric cars, education, 3D printing, agriculture, and jobs. Welcome to the fourth industrial revolution. Welcome to the exponential age. Now here's where it gets cryptic, because he just rattled off about 5 things that absolutely have changed the landscape. Remember, this was 2016. Listen to what it says next. Software will disrupt most traditional industries in the next 5 to 10 years. That's happening. Uber is just a software tool. They don't own any cars and are now the biggest taxi company in the world. Airbnb is now the biggest hotel company in the world, although they don't own any properties. Artificial intelligence. Now, this is important because this is all happening now. Computers become exponentially better in understanding the world. This year, a computer beat the best Go player in the world 10 years earlier than expected. In the US, young lawyers already don't get jobs because of IBM Watson. You can get legal advice so far for more or less basic stuff within seconds with a 90% accuracy, compared with 70% accuracy when done by humans. So if you study law, stop immediately. Now, remember, Elon Musk and some of these people have actually come out and said this within the last 3 months, that a law degree is worthless. Yet we're reading this in an email from 10 years ago. It says here, there will be 90% less lawyers in the future. Only specialists will remain. Watson already helps nurses diagnosing cancer, 4 times more accurate than human nurses. Facebook now has a pattern recognition software that can recognize faces better than humans. In 2030, computers will become more intelligent than humans. That's happening. Autonomous cars. In 2018, the first self-driving cars will appear for the public. Now, how did they know this? The email was in 2016. And sure enough, in 2018, autonomous cars appeared to the public. Then it says around 2020, the complete industry will start to be disrupted. You don't want to own a car anymore. You will call a car with your phone. It will show up to your location and drive you to your destination. That absolutely did happen. A lot of people just rely on Uber and the autonomous cars in the bigger cities anyway. You will not need to park it. You only need to pay for the driven distance and can be productive while driving. Our kids will never get a driver's license and will never own a car. That's starting to happen now as well. The younger generation aren't getting driver's licenses and don't want cars because they can't afford the insurance. It will change cities because we will need 90 to 95% less cars for that. Wow. We will transform former parking spaces into parks. 1.2 million people die each year in car accidents worldwide. We now have one accident every 100,000 kilometers, with autonomous driving that will drop to one accident in 10 million kilometers. That will save 1 million lives each year. Most car companies might become bankrupt. Traditional car companies try the evolutionary approach and just build a better car, while tech companies, Tesla, Apple, and Google, will do the revolutionary approach and build a computer on wheels. I spoke to a lot of engineers from Volkswagen and Audi, and they're completely terrified of Tesla. That's pretty much what happened as well. From 2016 till now, Teslas are essentially a computer on wheels. Let's keep reading. Insurance companies will have massive trouble because without accidents, the insurance will become 100 times cheaper. Their car insurance business model will disappear. Well, that's not really happening yet. Real estate will change because if you can work while you commute, people will move further away to live in more beautiful neighborhood. Wow. Now that's kind of happening, but for different reasons. People are now working from home. COVID made that happen, and so people just move further away from their jobs to live in a place that's less expensive. Electric cars will become mainstream by 2020. That actually did happen. Cities will be less noisy because all the cars will be electric. Electricity will become incredibly cheap and clean. That's not happening. Solar production has been on an exponential curve for 30 years, but you can only now see the impact. Last year, more solar energy was installed worldwide than fossil. The price for solar will drop so much that all coal companies will be out of business by 2025. Well, that didn't happen. It seems like solar has kind of reached a wall, hasn't it? So, wrong about that one. Let's keep reading. Cheap electricity comes cheap and abundant water. Desalination now only needs 2 kilowatts per cubic meter. We don't have scarce water in most places. We only have scarce drinking water. Imagine what will be possible if anyone can have as much clean water as he wants for nearly no cost. Well, electricity isn't cheap yet. Trump is saying he's going to build all these reactors and we'll have more electricity than we'll know what to do with. So that's the goal. But here we are with expensive electricity because of the data centers that have gone up. Then he talks about health. The tricorder X price will be announced this year. There will be companies who will build a medical device called the tricorder from Star Trek that works with your phone, which takes your retinal scan, your blood sample, and your breath into it. It then analyzes 54 biomarkers that will identify nearly any disease. It will be cheap, so in a few years, everyone on this planet will have access to world-class medicine nearly for free. Now, this almost sounds like what that tech billionaire was talking about. Larry Ellison was talking about artificial intelligence and, customized treatments. And so even though they don't have this tricorder, they will use this artificial intelligence to essentially identify any kind of disease that you have in your body by using biomarkers. So very close to this happening. 3D printing. The price of the cheapest 3D printer came down from $18,000 to $400 within 10 years. In the same time, it became 100 times faster. All major shoe companies started 3D printing shoes. Spare airplane parts are already 3D printed in remote airports. The space station now has a printer that eliminates the need for a large amount of spare parts they used to have in the past. At the end of this year, new smartphones will have 3D scanning possibilities. You can then 3D scan your feet and print your perfect shoe at home. Well, that's not happening yet. In China, they already 3D printed a complete 6-story office building. By 2027, 10% of everything that's been produced will be 3D printed. Wow, let's look that up. what percentage of everything produced is 3D printed? Okay, let's take a look. It's taking a minute. Okay, so that didn't come true, but it's heading in that direction. It says less than 0.1% of total global manufacturing. Huh, interesting. It's predicted to produce 50% of all parts. This is from i3D MFG. Let's look at this article real quick. So, let's keep going. Business opportunities. If you think of a niche you want to go in and ask yourself in the future, do you think we will have that? And if the answer is yes, how can you make that happen sooner? If it doesn't work with your phone, forget the idea. And any idea designed for success in the 20th century is doomed into failure in the 21st century. Work. 70 to 80% of jobs will disappear in the next 20 years. There will be a lot of new jobs, but it is not clear if there will be enough new jobs in such a small time. So the jobs are falling by the wayside exponentially. That started happening last year with artificial intelligence, and with Doge, many more hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs were lost to artificial intelligence. Agriculture. There will be $100 agriculture robots in the future. Farmers in the third world countries can then become managers of their field instead of working all day on their fields. Aeroponics will need much less water. The first petri dish produced veal is now available and will be cheaper than cow produced veal in 2018. Now, Bill Gates was working on this, wasn't he? Growing food in a lab, trying to make us all eat this. Remember, we're looking at this through the lens of 2016. Let's keep reading. It says right now, 30% of all agricultural surfaces is used for cows. Imagine if we don't need that space anymore. There are several startups who will bring insect protein to the market shortly. Well, Bill Gates, insect protein, right? They want us to eat cockroaches and bugs. It contains more protein than meat. It will be labeled as alternative protein source because most people still reject the idea of eating insects. Wow. Pretty accurate. Let's keep reading. There's an app called Moody's, which can already tell in which mood you are. By 2020, there will be apps that can tell by your facial expressions if you are lying. Whoa. Imagine a political debate where its results are being displayed when the candidates are talking. Here we go. This happened. Bitcoin will become mainstream this year and might even become the default reserve currency. Wow, look how far Bitcoin has come since 2016. I never ever thought that it would be acknowledged by the federal government, and Trump signed into an executive order exactly that. Longevity. Right now, the average lifespan increases by 3 months per year. 4 years ago, the lifespan used to be 79 years. Now it's 80 years. The increase itself is increasing, and by 2036, there will be more that 1 year increase per year. So we all might live for a long time, probably way more than 100. Education. The cheapest smartphones are already at IO in Africa and Asia. $10 maybe that says. By 2020, 70% of all humans will own a smartphone. That means everyone has the same access to world-class education. Every child can use Khan Academy for everything a child learns at school in first world countries. We have already released our software in Indonesia and release it in Arabic, Swahili, and Chinese this summer because I see an enormous potential. We all give the English app for free so that children in Africa can become fluent in English within half a year. So now we have a clue as to who sent this email originally that the DOJ redacted. It sounds like every child can use Khan Academy for everything a child learns at school. We have already released our software in Indonesia. So whoever produced the Khan Academy is probably the one that sent out this email. Let's look up the Khan Academy. creator of the Khan Academy. Sal Khan. Maybe this is the person that sent out the email originally. Whoa. What is the Khan Academy? Founder of the educational platform and nonprofit organization, the Khan Academy, which he established in 2006 to provide free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. He's a former hedge fund analyst with degrees from MIT and Harvard. Yeah, this would be the kind of guy that Epstein would be in contact with. Khan began by creating math tutorials for his cousins, which quickly grew into a global platform. So it was established in 2006. That was 10 years before the email went out. So this guy apparently knew the future. He was born in 76. Well, let's see if he's in the rest of the files. Salman Khan. Sal Khan. Let's take a look here. I'll try Salman first. Whoa, a lot of mentions here. Let's go to the emails. Okay. And Brian inviting me. So, okay, email. Interesting. Political unrest. To Larry Summers. Talking about political unrest from Jeffrey Epstein. Wonder if it'll show up as Sal Khan. Let's try that. Okay. All right, I'll dig deeper into this. But, oh, here we go. Email from Boris to Jeffrey talking about the Khan Academy. Whoa, found it. Okay. This was 2011, so we're going back in time. And this is from Boris Nikolic. Remember the guy with loose lips? To Jeffrey Epstein. He says, you might like this as well. Information on the internet seems like a city. To illustrate part of what I read this morning as summarized below, 100% of what I read was found via third-party aggregators. Trust zero visits one of the stores. Why science majors change their minds. Okay, I don't know what that's about. I saw something else here. Let's go back to this one. 3-page email from, okay, email from Sal Khan. Okay, promoting he's from Mountain View, California. Here it is. Jeffrey Epstein. So he sends an email to Epstein. College admissions and financial aid can be confusing. I grew up with a single mother who made less than a year than my colleges were charging for tuition. So he's basically promoting the Khan Academy to Epstein. Why would they redact his name? That's the question. See if there's anything else in here. Document type. Oh, there's only 13. Let's see here. Okay. So he's just promoting his Khan Academy. Let's go through these. That's it. All right, let me go back into the chat. Now, tomorrow, Epstein hidden cameras and a hidden office behind a bookshelf. I found that looking for, I think I just typed in hidden cameras, and the hidden cameras were actually inside of Kleenex boxes. So we're going to dig into that tomorrow, as well as get into some updated headlines and everything going on. Let me go into the chat here, see what's going on with you guys. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. I'm just reading the chat here. Prince Andrew. Yeah, I've already looked up Prince Andrew. There's a million entries. There's almost too many to count. It would take years to go through all of it. He's guilty. He already got arrested, so we'll see how all that plays out. It could just be smoke and mirrors. Could be a big nothing sandwich, but it's good that he's been arrested. Okay, that's a start. Yeah, the email address, JEE Vacation. Nice little vacation spot for the depraved. Did I cover Prince? Yes. You mean in the files? That's hard to search as well because his name is so general. Okay. Klaus Schwab. Yes, he was arrested on his 66th birthday. So there you go, right? That's when Prince Andrew was arrested. Thanks for letting us know that. Larry Ellison. Yeah, I looked up Larry Ellison. I think his name was scrubbed. Didn't see anything in the files about Larry Ellison. Yeah, from Oracle. Arrested for protective custody, says Jay Hart. You never know. Sure, people, I mean, these people can't even walk down the street anymore. They're living in fear because they know that the worst thing you can do, think about it, when you send someone to prison for hurting a child, they usually end up dead. And so now these people are just walking around in public and they can't walk around anymore. You know what's crazy is we covered Zuckerberg in the files. He was hanging out with Epstein and all the tech billionaires after Epstein was convicted. They were doing dinners together. They were basically plotting the future of the current presidency is what they were doing. I mean, let's cut to the chase. Why would Epstein be meeting with all these people after he was convicted? And it's the very same people that Trump paraded out to all of us and had dinners with, all the tech oligarchs, Ellison, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, all these people. Never, ever forget. That was day one in the new White House administration. So now they're trying to say that, they always like to beat up on Zuckerberg, right? He's kind of like the kid that gets bullied. That's the meme that they want us to see. They've drug him in before and harassed him. And now they're saying, oh, it's because our children are so addicted to Facebook. That's why we're going to drag him in. No. The real reason he should be drug in and questioned is because he was hanging out with convicted PDF files, planning all of our futures in these secret dinners that they all hung out at. That's the true story. Not that they're stealing our children's minds by going on Facebook and spending too much time on Facebook. It's essentially a smokescreen to get us off the trail. Okay, that's the problem. Let's look up Klaus Schwab. I don't know how to spell his name, so we're just going to type it in. There we go. See if he shows up in the Epstein files. See if we can find any zingers today for you guys. Boy. Okay, let's go back here. Yeah, I looked up the magic mirror. I looked up all kinds of stuff for you guys. Okay. Sal Khan. Okay, let's try here. Klaus Schwab. It's Joker. See, you know that it's been scrubbed when you only get 20, when you only get a few mentions. You know they've scrubbed it. Let's go to the emails. This guy's top demon. And they're saying there's only 11 documents. See if there's any emails. Okay. Ooh. Lawrence Summers, Nicole Junkerman, instructions to send it to Klaus Schwab. Okay, let's click on this one. Whoa, from Julie Summers to blank, redacted. This is Klaus Schwab at WEF. Julie, Jeffries replies below, hoping it makes sense to you. Please send to Klaus at WEF. So, what's Jeffrey say? Jeffrey asked Larry to write a recommendation for Nicole Junkerman. We need to know where to send. Could you help us track this down? So, looks like... So, Epstein... Who's Nicole Junkerman? So, Epstein wanted Larry to write a recommendation for Nicole Junkerman. How do I write it? Global leader. So, Epstein was in the WEF as well. Of course he was, right? Nicole is a force of nature, blah, blah, blah. Here's the recommendation from Larry Summers. Let's look up who Nicole Junkerman is real quick. Nicole Junkerman. Here she is. German entrepreneur and investor. So she obviously knew Epstein. Unbelievable. Cancer charity supported by Kate Middleton and Prince William faces Epstein followed as trustee resigns. Wonder if that was her. Nicole Junkerman, international entrepreneur, PDF file supporter, and investor. I spent my career developing strong media business investing, going to Epstein Island and investing in disruptive cutting, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So we uncovered another person connected to this. She was working with Epstein to get this, to get a letter of recommendation. Jeffrey asked Larry to write a recommendation for Nicole Junkerman. So Epstein asked Larry to do this for her. So obviously he was close with her. Whoa. We should look her up. See how the rabbit hole just keeps going? Let's look up Nicole Junkerman, see if there was any correspondence between her and Epstein leading up to this. Please send this. So Klaus Schwab. Let's finish up with Klaus Schwab first. I'm getting ADD here. Steve Bannon. Let's see. Steve Bannon. Asia Times. 2 email exchange. Jeffrey and Tom Pritzker discussing travel plans. Suggested meeting. What? Let's see here. Meet with the new Norwegian that took over for Klaus Schwab. From Epstein to Tom Pritzker. No problem. I think you should meet with the new Norwegian that took over for Klaus Schwab. This was back in 2017. Now running Davos. Already made dinner plans. Enjoy the chaos this week. Whoa. See, these people lie straight to our faces. Now we're getting the true story about how all this works. Epstein was in the middle of all this. Let's see. Global leaders. Epstein requests state apart. Ooh. Ooh. Someone's going to stay at his apartment. Hold on. Okay. This is to Epstein from blank. Says, can I ask Leslie? Here's my New York City plan Thursday night, Sunday afternoon, UN speech Thursday evening, and maybe see you Friday again at MasterCard and seeing Mary Erdos. So this person was giving a UN speech. Sends an email to Epstein. Saturday, meet with Klaus Schwab and Christiana Falcone. Do you know her? She's terrific. Married to Martin Sorrell. Sunday photo shoot. Maybe Boris and Sam will coach me. Leave Sunday afternoon. Hotel's lonely. Can't stay at Bob's anymore. He died. What you think? Thanks in advance. So, looks like, let's see. Can I stay at your apartments? So this person was asking for, see if they could stay at Jeffrey's apartment in 2015. So Epstein was still in all the middle of this long after he was a convicted PDF file. Now let's look up this woman and we'll kind of wind the show down today. Nicole Junkerman. See if there was any emails between Epstein, who basically helped her get a letter of recommendation. Ooh, that's a lot of pages. Let's look for emails only. Gosh, a lot. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look here. 136 pages of emails. Oh my gosh. Email chain between Nicole Junkerman and Epstein from 2013. Discussing travel plans, schedules. So she's busted. Oh my gosh. Sorry I have to leave Europe today. Doctor was very nice to have come for further analysis. Thanks you for helping me. So he helped her. This was in 2013. After he was a convicted PDF file. We have to keep repeating that because it gives you context that nobody cared that he was a PDF file. Let's put Epstein in the search here. Nicole Junkerman, Epstein. Hopefully it'll narrow down the emails to just them talking. Because that's what we're really concerned about here. Boy, 131 pages. My gosh. Okay. Reproductive medicine clinic involving Epstein, Nicole Junkerman. Epstein will be in Paris. Wow, they were close. An email exchange between Epstein and Junkerman in which Epstein requests to speak, and thread includes a confidentiality notice. Whoa. Epstein says he is at Harvard. He's in Paris. They're basically telling each other where they were all the time. Wonder if he was dating her. From Epstein to Nicole Junkerman, which Epstein replies, I'll try. Then he says, where are you? I am there. He is present. Nicole states her father has just died. Epstein says he tried to call you back. Availability to meet. Yeah, it's safe to say there is something going on here. A lot of email exchanges on various dates throughout a span of time. Whoa. Busted. Okay, let's see if she's already been exposed. Epstein files. What? Having a baby with her? Cancer charity. Let's see. Nicole Junkerman stepped back from her role as trustee of cancer charity with ties to Kate Middleton and Prince William after, so this was 3 days ago. Faces Epstein fallout. Huh. Nicole Junkerman. Let's read her bio here. Sports, healthcare, technology sectors. She lives in London. Numerous appearances of her name in the Epstein file. So this has already been discovered. Friends with Epstein. Okay. Let's hop off of that. Sorry, I just went crazy for a little bit. But this is how the research goes, you guys. It's grueling, but eventually you get down to the bottom of it. Okay, I'm back in the chat. It's also to get us let go of our old system, including democracy, so the broligarchs can take over with technocracy. I don't understand that. I mean, I appreciate your opinion on that. I really do, but that's been going around. People are trying to say that. But I can, how would people come to that conclusion when we haven't even tried regular people in government? Like literally the plumber. This is what I keep telling you guys. I'd rather vote for a plumber Or why wouldn't we try, going to changing the rules on who can become president? Why wouldn't we try that first? Why would we just go straight to, oh, let's just let the AI run everything? You guys, people don't like AI. Okay. Everyone's upset that we don't even know what's real anymore. We don't trust AI anymore. There was a time on this channel where I told you guys, hey, we should just have voting come from a computer system and everyone puts their vote in. Well, now I would never trust a system like that because they could just game the system and make it say whatever they want, because that's what AI has done. So I don't think that that's the psyop here. I respectfully disagree with that. I think people are fed up with AI. If anything, everybody wants it to go away. They're in fear of their future, their jobs. There are people that have gone to college. The degrees are now obsolete. So now they owe all this money in school loans, but there's no way to pay it back because their job is already gone. Okay. When you think about education, it's very similar to the weakening dollar. Okay. Technology erases education is what it does. In the same way that as the dollar begins to lose value, that steals your retirement, a portion of it, right? It's literally like they're robbing you. And the people who control the value of the dollar, they don't care because they've gamed the system. So I don't agree with that. I don't think that this is just a psyop to make us all just want AI governance, because it's the exact opposite. If anything, we want more self-reliance. We want, less taxes. We want the government to pretty much go away because they've lied to us so much. Or at the most, we would just go back to a time where we voted for simple people to rule our world that aren't millionaires and billionaires. We don't trust those people anymore. So there would be maybe a destabilized, or what do they call that? Decentralized government, where people might want to just have a person that they can actually go talk to or go into their office, who is more on our level rather than these WEF, World Economic Forum goons who are trained to essentially lie to us is what they do. So those are my thoughts on that. But now here's the way the internet works. They will repeat a lie over and over and over and over again, and then people parrot it. So when I hear, oh, this is all just a psyop to make us all go to AI governance, to me, that's the AI saying that. I feel like the AI is telling people to say that, and it's being repeated over and over again. And what does that do? It turns people's minds off to the Epstein files. They don't want to look at it because they're like, oh, this is just this is just to destabilize the government. No, that's what they want you to think. So, all right. Now, I'm not talking about a revival. The Bible says things are going to get worse. I just don't think AI governance is what most people are going to want, is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about a revival. I'm talking about what people want. And what people don't want is AI governance. If anything, they're going to want simplified government, or government without people. They're going to set term limits. They're going to start doing that kind of thing and demand that before they'd ever ask for AI governance. That's the exact opposite of what people want. So, yeah, just my opinion. I respect yours. And I've been at this a long time. I can see a psyop a million miles away, you guys. I've been through psyops before, and I've had to, stand my ground on certain topics and issues that later we find out we were 100% right about. But in the time we were talking about it, it didn't sound very popular. It didn't sound correct. So, yeah. Yeah, if anything, people are going to want no governance. They're going to say, you know what, we don't want a government. They're going to create like little enclaves where they say, no, we don't want government anymore in our state or whatever. Like a governor could come forward and say, okay, we're going to break away from the federal government. I could see that happening before people accepting AI federal governance. I could see them saying, okay, we're going to secede from the union. I could see 3 or 4 states saying that, and then putting their trust in the governor instead of the federal government. I could see that happening long before people want AI governance. Yeah, we did go through COVID. Yeah, and people caved in real quick, didn't they? But I think a lot of people did learn a lesson with that. a lot more people woke up after COVID, believe it or not. Now, every time one of these, things happen, I call them portals, because essentially the whole world changes. Our whole understanding changes. They call it a Overton window, right? Where the paradigm changes. The frame of reality changes. And this happened during 9/11, happened during COVID. The world was never the same. And I think at some point, sometimes I want to believe that people aren't going to fall for the same trick. Well, what the elite do is they just change the trick. They don't do the same trick twice, right? So we've had a pandemic. Are they going to try a pandemic again? Probably not, because they got burned. They tried pretending like we got attacked by terrorists. That one tricked a lot of people for a long time. But now most people are awake to it. And most people's sentiment is, okay, 9/11 was a lie, but what can we do about it now? That's most people's sentiment at this point. But a lot of people are awake to 9/11. So yeah, we have not seen a third of life die yet. Revelation says we will. Yes, I agree that prophecy has not been fulfilled yet. Christy says they are letting AI have her state in Mississippi. That's happening. I agree with you, Christy, but I think that's happening for other reasons. I think that's because people are complacent and lazy and they don't realize the threat of AI. It's not because and I say this respectfully, I don't believe it's because they're disappointed in our government. That's not the reason. It's because people are lazy and complacent. And they don't see the threat of AI. I mean, look, I could be wrong about this. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I respect everybody's opinion. We are in a mass extinction. And maybe I'm just seeing this through the lens of how I feel about AI. I would think, these tech billionaires are telling us that we're going to be replaced by robots and we're not going to have jobs. Everything's going to be able to be done by a robot, which means we would have to put complete 100% trust in these people to rule our worlds and also to be fair. Are people willing to put our trust in these people to be fair and do the right thing when they've literally told us that there won't be many humans left in the future? I wouldn't think so. But again, I'm seeing it through the lens of my understanding and my knowledge. Maybe most people aren't awake to that yet. Maybe they don't get it yet, or maybe they simply don't care. I don't know, but crazy. Most people have never had an original thought in their heads. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off here. We'll be back tomorrow. I love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day. Great discussion, you guys.